Sorting material into groups. Object around us. We have seen that our wood and clothes have so much variety in them. Not just food and cloth, there is such a vast variety of objects everywhere. We see around us a chair, bowls, cot, cycle, cooking utensil, books, cloth, toys, water, stones, and many other objects. All these objects have different shape, color, and uses. Look around and identify objects that are round in shape. Our list may include rubber ball and football and a glass marble. If we include objects that are nearly round, our list could also include objects like apple, orange, and an earthen pinchers. Let us say this to the make a group of objects that are made of plastic buckets, lunchbox, toys, water containers, pipes, and many such objects may find a place in the group. There are so many ways to group objects in the above example. We have group objects on the basis of their shapes or the material they are made from. All objects around us are made of one more material. These material may be glass, metal, plastic, wood, cotton, paper, mud, or soil. Can you think of more example of material? Let us collect as many objects as possible from around us. Each of us could get some everyday object from home, and we could also collect some object from the classroom or from outside the school. What we'll have in our collections: chalks, pencils, notebook, rubber, dusters, hammer, nail, soap, spokes of wheel, bat, matchbox, all salt, potato. We can also list objects that we can think of but cannot bring to the classroom. For example, wall, trees, doors, tractors, road. Separate all objects from these collections that are made from paper, woods. This way we have divided all objects into two groups. One group has the objects that are made from paper or wood, while the other groups has the objects that are not made of this material. Similarly, we could separate the things that are used for preparing food. Let us be little more systematic. List all object collect in table 2.1. Try to identify materials that each one is made of. It would be fun to make this a large table collecting informations about as many objects as possible. It may seem difficult to find out the materials out of which some of these objects are made. In such case, discuss with your friend, teacher and parents to identify the materials, object and the material they are made from. Object materials they are made. Plate किससे? What is the plate made? Steel, glass, plastics other. Pen, plastics matter. Table 2.2 list some common material. You can also add more material in common one that are known to you. Now try and think of everyday object you know that are made mainly of these material and list in them column 2. To Bozo want to know whether we found some material that were used for making more than one type of an object, different type of object that are made from the same material. Material object made of these materials: wood, chair, tables, plough, bucket, cart, and its wheel. Paper, books, notebook, newspaper, toys, calendars. What do you we find from these tables? First, we grouped object in many different ways. We then found that object around us are made of different materials. At types, an object is made of a single material. An object could also be made of many material, and then again one material could be used for making many different objects. What decided which material should be used for making any given object? It seems that we need to know more about different materials. The proportions of materials. Have you ever wondered why a tumbler is not made with a piece of cloth? Keep in mind that we generally uses a tumbler to keep a liquid. Therefore, would it not be silly if we were to make a tumbler out of cloth? What we need for a tumbler is glass, plastics, metal, other such material that will hold water. Similarly, it would not be wise to use paper-like material for cooking vessels. We see then that we choose a material to make an object depending on its properties and the purpose for the which the object it is to be used. So what are all the properties of material that would be important for their uses? Some properties are discussed there. Appearance. Material usually look different from each other. Wood looks very different from iron. Iron appears different from copper and aluminum. At the same time, there may be some similarities between iron, copper, aluminum that are not there in wood. Collect small pieces of different material: paper, cardboard, wood, copper, wire, aluminum, sheet, chalks. Do any of these appear sign? Separate the sign material into a group. Now observe as the teachers cut each material into two pieces and look at the freshly cut surface. What do you notice? Does the freshly cut surface of some of these material appear shine? Include these objects also in the group of shiny materials. Do you notice such a sign or lusters in the others material? Cut them anywhere as you can. Repeat this in the class with as many material as possible and make a list. Choose with a without luster. Instead of cutting, you can rub the surface of material with sandpaper or see if the lusters. The materials that have such lusters are usually metal. Iron, copper, aluminum, and gold are examples of metal. Some metals often lose their shine and appear dull because of this action of air and moisture on them. We therefore notice the lusters only on their freshly cut surface. When you visit an smith RNC workshops, look out for freshly cut surface of metal rod to see if they have luster. Hardness. When you press the different materials with your hand, some of them may be hard to compress while others can be easily compressed. Take a metal key and try to scratch with it the surface of piles of wood, aluminum, a piles of stones, a nail, candle, chalks, any other material or object. You can easily scratch some material, while some cannot be scratched so easily. Material which can be compressed or scratched easily are called soft, while some other material which are difficult to compress are called hard. For example, cotton sponge is a soft while iron is hard. In appearance, materials can have different properties like lusters, hardness, be rough or smooth. Can you think of other properties that describe the appearance of material? Soluble or insoluble? Collect a sample of the some solid substance such as a sugar, salt, chalks, powder, sand, sandwurst. Take 5 glasses or because fill each one of them about two-thirds with water. Add a small amount spoonful of sugar to the first glass of salt to the second, and similarly. Bakers fill each one of them about two-thirds with water. Add a small amount of sugar to the first glass, salt to the second, and similarly add a small amount of the other substance into the other glasses. Stir the content of each them with a spoon. Wait for a few minutes. Observe that happens to the substance added to water. Note your observation as shown in table 2.3. You will notice that some substances have completely disappeared or dissolved in water. We say that these substances are soluble in water. Other substances do not mix with water and do not disappear even after we stirred for you. Long time, these substances are insoluble in water. Water plays an important role in the functioning of our body because it can dissolve a large number of substances. Do liquid also dissolve in water? Collect sample of vinegar, lemon juice, mustard oil or coconut oil, kerosene, any other liquid. Take a glass tumbler, fill it up the half with water. Add a few spoonful of one liquid to this and stir it well. Let it stand for 5 minutes. Observe whether the liquid mixes with the water. Repeat the same with other liquids. As many different liquids are available are available to you. Write your observation table 2.4. Liquid mix well, does not mix. Vinegar mix well, lemon juice, mustard oil, coconut oil, kerosene oil. We notice that some liquids get completely mixed with water, some others do not mix with water and form a separate layer. When kept, acids form sometimes. Bojo suggested that we also check if the liquids that we used in activities 5. Some gases are soluble in water, whereas others are not. Water usually has a small quantities of some gases dissolved in it. For example, oxygen gas dissolved in water is very important for the survival of animals and plants that live in water. Object may float or sink in water. While doing activities 4, you might have the notice that the insoluble solid separated out from waters. You may have also noticed this with some liquids in activities 5. Some of these materials that did not mix with water floated to the surface of water. Others may have sunk to the bottom of tumblers. Right? We notice many examples of objects that float in water sink. Dried leaves fallen on the surface of a pond. A stone that you threw into this pond flew. Some objects float in water while others sink in it. Drops of honey that you let fall into the glass of water. What's happened to all of this? Bojo, would you like you give me 5 examples each object that float and those that sink in water? What about testing these same materials to the sea if they float or sink in other liquid like oil? Transparency. You might have played the game of hide and seek. Think of some place where you would like to hide so that you are not seen any other. Why do you choose this place? Would you have tried to? Hide behind a glass windows, obviously not as your friend, can be through that and sport. Can you see through all the materials? Those substances or materials through which things can be seen are called transparent. Glass, water, air, some plastics are example of transparent material. Shopkeeper usually prefer to keep biscuit sweet and others stable in transparent container of glass or plastic so that the buyers can easily see these items. On the other hand, there are some materials through which you are not able to see. These materials are called you cannot tell what is a kept in closed wooden box. A cardboard, cotton, metal container, wood, cardboard, and metals are example of opaque matter. Do we find that we can group all material and object without any confusion as either opaque or transparent? Take a sheet of paper and look through towards a light bulb. Make a notes of your observations now. Put 2.3 drops of some oil and spread on the sheet of paper. Look again towards the lighted bulb through that portions of the paper on which the oils has been spread. Do you find that the bulb is more clearly visible than before? But can you see clearly through the oil paper? Is everything on the other side of it visible? Perhaps not. The material through the which object can be seen but not clearly are known as a trans translucent. Remember that the oil patches on paper when we tested food items for presence of fat that was translucent. to can you think of some more example of translucent material? We can therefore group of material as opaque, transparent and translucent. Paheli suggests covering the glass of a torch with your palm at a dark place. Switch on the torch and observe the other side of the palm. She want to know whether from you hand is opaque, transparent and translucent. We learn that a material differ in their appearance and the way they mix in the water or other liquid. They may float or sink in waters or may be transparent. Opaque translucent material can be grouped on the basis of similarities or different in their properties. Why do we need to group materials in everyday life? We often group materials for our convenience. At home, we usually stores begin in such a manner that similar objects are placed together. Such an arrangement helps us to locate them easily. Similarly, a grocer usually keeps all type of biscuit at one corner of this shop, all shop at another, while grains and pulse are stored at some other places. There is another reasons why we find such grouping useful. Dividing material in groups makes it a convenient to study their properties and also observe any pattern in these properties. We will study more about this in the higher class. Hard occurring solver, rough luster solver, material translucent metal and transparent. Objects around us are made of the large variety of material. A given material could be used to make large number of objects. It is also possible that an object could be made of single material or of many different types of material. Different types of material have different properties. Some materials are shiny in appearance with others are not. Some are rough and some smooth. Similarly, some material are hard whereas some others soft. Some material are soluble in water whereas some others are insoluble. Some materials such as a glass are transparent and some others such as a wood, metal or pure. Some materials are translucent. Materials are grouped together on the basis of similarities and difference in the properties. Things are the grouped together for convenience and the studies their properties. Name five exercise. Name five objects which can be made from wood. Select those objects from the following which sign: glass, bowl, plastic toy, steel, spoon, cotton shirt. Match the following given below with the material from which they could be made. Remember, an object could be made from more than one material and given material could be used for making many objects. Object material: book, glass, timber, wood, chairs, paper, toys, leather, shoes, plastic. State whether the statement given below are true or false. Stone is transparent while glass is opaque. A notebook has a luster while erasers does not. Chalk dissolve in water. A piece of wood float on water. Sugar does not dissolve in water. Oil mixed with the water. Sand settle down in waters. Vinegar dissolve in waters. I hope you like the lectures. Thank you for so much watching.